Hello there, receive warm greetings from us all here at Capuchin TV. You are right on time for the Catholic Focus News with me, Sasha Elizabeth, with my co-anchor, assistant language interpreter, Eric Maluki. In today's bulletin, from a nation bidding farewell to a beloved bishop, to a call for contentment and compassion in Embu, to milestones in Kenya's maritime sector, alongside anger over a deadly road stretch in Kakamega and a crackdown on illicit liquor in Kitui, we have it all covered in this bulletin. With our top story, a farewell to a prelate who to many was a father, a teacher and a gentle yet firm leader, moving as one writer described, and I quote, like a steady river through the story of Western Kenya. The nation bid farewell to Bishop Emeritus Philip Sulumeti, laid to rest today in a crypt at St. Joseph's Cathedral, Kakamega, following a solemn funeral mass at Bukungu Stadium. The retired prelate, who passed away on November 9th, 2025 at Nairobi Hospital, leaves behind a legacy of over 4 decades of devoted pastoral service. Deborah Mwanya starts us off the bulletin with that story.
So faithful gathered today in Kakamega for the burial of Bishop Emeritus Philip Sulumeti, a prelate whose ministry touched countless lives over more than 50 years. The solemn mass at Bukungu Stadium brought together archbishops, bishops, priests, religious men and women, and the lay faithful from across the country, not forgetting the political class. Representing the Holy Father in Kenya, Archbishop Bart Van Megen presided over the mass, remembering the late bishop as a vibrant, spiritual, and hard-working shepherd who dedicated his life to the growth of the church.
In that sense, by the way, I think that story of Sulumeti in many ways, in terms of history, is very similar to the story of our servant of God, Cardinal OTUNGA, who was one of the very first Kenyan priests to be sent to Rome. And he mentioned it with pride. There was no false shame. He came from a proud people who knew their identity and were eager to keep their traditions. You know, I think it is good for a man to know his roots. You should never deny them but cherish them, because your roots, they make you into the tree, and the tree he became, rooted firmly in the soil of Busia. Son of Teso, yes, but also son of Bungoma, son of Kisumu. You might even say son of Rome. And then afterwards, father of Kisumu and father of Kakamega, and maybe even you might say, in a sense, father of Kenya.
The Archbishop of Kisumu Metropolitan, His Grace Maurice Makuba Mohatia, also paid tribute to the late bishop, hailing him as a true north to faith, dedication, and Christian values.
Here lies an encyclopedia of the faith. Here lies an encyclopedia of the Catholic Church's history in Western Kenya. Here lies an encyclopedia of the tradition of the Church. Here lies an encyclopedia of church discipline. Here lies an encyclopedia of the prudent management of the temporal goods of the church.
The funeral also drew top government officials led by Musalia Mudavadi, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign Affairs Minister, who delivered a message on behalf of President William Ruto, hailing the bishop as a giant of faith, a dedicated Kenyan who always wanted the best for this country.
The constitution we have today, which was voted by 70% of the Kenyans in the referendum, which has been dubbed as one of the best, or recognized as one of the most progressive constitutions globally. the man, the bishop we are laying to rest today, had a tremendous role of contributing to that very constitution.
Religious leaders led by Right Reverend Joseph Obanyi Sangwe, the Bishop of Kakamega Diocese, alongside Governor Fernandez Barasa, highlighted Bishop Sulumeti's contributions to health and education initiatives, as well as his active role in the process that led to the 2010 Constitution. Bishop Obanyi Sangwe also noted that the late Emeritus Bishop wanted to be buried as a bishop and nothing more of a leader.
Tunaenda kukumbuka kazi ambayo alifanya, haswa kwa kuhakikisha kwamba shule zetu zimenawiri. Tutamkumbuka kwa kazi ambayo alifanya kuhakikisha kwamba tuko na hospitali. We shall remember the late Bishop Philip Sulumeti for laying the foundation pale St. Mary's Hospital na pia kule St. Elizabeth Mukumu. And the only honor that you're going to give the late Bishop retired ni kuhakikisha kwamba all those facilities don't go down. Na pia nachukua fursa hii kuambia serikali kuu ya kwamba the legacy of the retired Bishop Sulumeti ilikuwa ni kuhakikisha tuko na afya katika gatuzi letu la Kakamega. So let us ensure that we pay all the sharp payments za St. Mary's Hospital na pia St. Elizabeth Hospital ili zile hospitali zetu ziweze kunawiri.
Made a will in which he gave clear instructions on how he would like to be buried. And he indicated that he would like to be buried as a bishop, according to the traditions and stipulations of the church. And we intend to do that. And they also indicated where he's going to be buried and how he's going to be buried. In fact, when I came, the first thing he ever showed me is where he would like to be buried. And that's what he wrote. At the cathedral, behind the bishop's chair, facing the altar, and above the ground. He doesn't want the church or the foundations of the church to be interfered with.
The atmosphere was one of reverence and a reflection as faithful young and old joined in prayer, song and heartfelt tributes to a man described as accessible, compassionate and unwavering in his service. Following the Mass, Bishop Sulumeti was laid to rest behind St. Joseph's Cathedral, facing the altar as outlined in his will, bringing to a close the life of a man who served God and the country with dedication and faith. Tebra Mwanya, Capuchin TV, Catholic Focus, Kakamega.
Well, just a point of correction that the funeral mass was held at the Kakamega Rehabilitation School, also known as Kakamega Approved School, located just opposite Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology. And as we've heard from the tributes, he was an encyclopedia of faith, an encyclopedia of church discipline, and all the great accolades that he earned through his exemplary life as a leader. Moving forward, the Catholic Diocese of Embu is calling on the faithful to cultivate a spirit of contentment, gratitude and compassion, with Bishop Peter Kimani Ndongo warning of a rising culture of resentment and habitual complaining. Addressing mourners at the Mary Mother of God Rutune Prayer House in Karau Parish during the burial of 85-year-old Mary Giku, who is the stepmother to CARITAS Embu Director Reverend Father James Murithi Mushira, The bishop reminded Christians that challenges are an inevitable part of life and should never give rise to bitterness towards others or towards God. He urged believers to celebrate others' blessings, pray earnestly, and trust in God's timing, emphasizing the biblical call to love, unity, and service. The funeral mass, celebrated by at least 18 priests, drew tributes from local leaders and parishioners who remembered Giku as a generous and unifying matriarch, celebrated for nurturing not only her own children, but also those of her co-wife. Here's the story.
Labda kuna jambo ambalo siwezi kulifanya. Labda kuna jambo ambalo naona Mungu ameninyima. Labda kuna mambo ambalo naona siwezi na sifanani na mtu yule mwingine. Je, huwa ninatetesha Mungu? Huwa ninatetesha wenzangu, majirani zangu? Labda niko na watoto, labda ni wakorofi, labda hawako katika maisha, ama labda wamebahatika katika maisha. What do I tell God about my life? And this is a good example of a mother and a woman of faith, ambaye tunafurahi siku ya leo kuona amekuwa shahidi, ametuvuta sisi sote, ameweza kutuleta pamoja kusherehekea imani yake katika hali yake ya maisha. Sasa swali lile ambalo kila mtu tunatumwa ni funzo lile ambalo ametufundisha katika maisha yetu na lile ambalo tunaona katika injili yetu, tukiambiwa ya kwamba jinsi alivyoweka taa yake imani ikiwa imewaka, na sisi tuweke taa zetu zikiwa zimefanya nini? Zimewaka. Kwa sababu mara nyingi ukizima taa yako utajikuta katika giza. Ukizima taa yako mara nyingi utajikwaa na utaangushwa. Utakuta jiwe katika safari yako. Utakuta gogo katika njiani mwako na utaangushwa, gogo ambalo ni la mwovu shetani. How do we relate with those people, especially wale ambao hawajiwezi? Tunaandikwa tuweze kuwafikiria na tuweze kuwapa upendo, kwa sababu upendo ndio unaotuunganisha. Upendo ndio Mungu. And love is where God is. And when we love one another, when we come together to forgive one another, we bring God to the community. Mary, in her own humble ways, in her own simple ways, aliweza kudhihirisha upendo huo wa Mungu. Aliweza kudhihirisha unyenyekevu wa Mungu katika maisha yake. Hatuwezi labda kutamka mambo makubwa sana aliyoyatenda, kama yale yamefanywa na viongozi, yamefanywa na wale miracles zile zimefanyika, but we can be able to attest to her own small acts of charity, acts of love, mapendo na matendo madogo madogo aliyoyafanya ya imani. Hayo ndio mimi na wewe tunaitishwa na Mwenyezi Mungu yaweze kuweza kuwekwa kwenye cheti hicho ambacho kitatupitisha kuingia katika ufalme wa mbinguni. Ibada ya leo tunapomleta kuingia mbinguni, Mary alipokea Ekharistia. Kwa nini basi asiwe amepitia barabara hiyo ya kumuingiza katika ufalme wa mbinguni? Mimi na wewe tunaulizwa.
Well, we pray for a peaceful repose of the unifying matriarch Mary Giku, as well as the Bishop Emeritus Philip Sulumeti. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Now, from lessons in the contentment to lessons in the classrooms, the nation's students are now completing another milestone as the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education KCSE examinations enter their final day. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba presided over the opening of the physics paper in Ekeronyo, Nyamira County. The Ministry of Education says preparations for the marking process are underway, with results expected to be released in January 2026. The ministry has also reaffirmed that all 1.1 million grade 9 learners will transition to grade 10 beginning January 12, 2026. This year's KCSE exams, which began on October 21st, have run for a full month. Meanwhile, the marking of the Kenya Junior School Education Assessment KJSCA is already in progress ahead of the official release scheduled for December 11th.
Guided through the guidelines that we issued recently, and the students from the month of July have been piloted, have been informed of how to select, and in fact they have already done the selections. The selection will be based on the competency of the student, the marks that they've gotten, and the assessments that have been done. And remember, this particular examination had 60%. Previously, what they have done through their study in junior school would be amounting to 40, will account for 40%. So there is a placement criteria that has already been developed and which has been explained to the students and which they use to select the schools depending on their strength and their pathways. Placements will also depend on the available spaces in those schools. Some schools will be providing the 3 pathways, other schools will provide the 2 pathways. So that is how it's being done, and once we start the placement, we have students in high school, the amount should be 22,240. In the junior school is 15,000, and in primary.
Well, we wish all the candidates all the best in their examinations results. As Kenya joins the rest of the world to mark World Fisheries Day today, Stella Maris is celebrating a major milestone in the country's maritime sector, unveiling its first ever strategic plan for 2026 to 2030, alongside a new fisheries safety training curriculum. The launch event was graced by Archbishop Martin Kivuva Musonde of the Catholic Archdiocese of Mombasa, who emphasized the urgent need to create opportunities for young people in the maritime sector. Also present were Mrs. Margaret Masibo, who is the director of Stella Maris, and Dr. Rosalind Randu, who is the chief officer of the Department of Blue Economy in Mombasa County.
As the world celebrates World Fisheries Day today, Stella Maris has unveiled a transformative 5-year strategic plan alongside a fisheries safety training curriculum, an initiative expected to reshape Kenya's maritime and fisheries sector.
This strategic plan of 2026-2030 officially open in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Speaking during the launch, Archbishop Martin Kivuva Musonde of the Catholic Archdiocese of Mombasa commended Stella Maris for its commitment to safeguarding the dignity and safety of fisheries. Archbishop Kivuva urged young people to grab opportunities available in the maritime sector.
Documents which are basically the training guide, fisheries safety, and we have launched the strategic plan 2026-2030. This is a document we are going to put in practice, all of us together. Tutaweza kushirikiana, tuone tuanzie wapi, tufikie wapi. Ni mchanganyiko wa wote ambao tuko hapa kwamba tushikane mikono. It's also to tell our young people, be ready, there are many opportunities that come by, and this is one of it, the training possibilities within our maritime industry. The sea has a lot of potential.
Just like the seafarers, the fishers in most cases are not seen. And therefore here we are gathered with the partners who are committed to safeguarding the dignity and well-being of the seafarers and fishers, the people in this house. And these are the people who are often not seen, not heard, yet they are essential in our nation.
Mara nyingi usalama wa uvuvi haukuwa umewekwa ama umepewa kipaumbele. Lakini sasa kadri ambavyo tunaendelea na mambo ya blue economy na mambo ya usalama wa fisher folk ama fishermen wote ama wanawake fisher women, ni kwamba una umuhimu wa usalama wao wakienda huko baharini.
Gabriel Mokoma, Mombasa.
And indeed, the sea, just as it holds the vast, great potential waiting for the youths, the Kenyans used to tap on it. Elsewhere, a tense and emotional scene unfolded in Muraka along the Kakamega-Kisumu highway today as residents turned the burial procession of accident victim Silas Miheso Andega into a powerful protest. Carrying his casket and marching to traditional instrumentals, they blocked the busy highway, demanding the immediate construction of speed bumps on what they describe as a deadly stretch that has claimed at least 10 lives this year alone. Our reporter John Beja is here telling us about the standoff in this story.
Tension and grief collided on the Kakamega-Kisumu highway today as the residents of Muraka barricaded a section of the road, carrying a casket and marching to traditional rites and angry plea to authorities after yet another fatal accident. They say this stretch has turned into a danger zone, claiming at least 10 lives this year alone.
Mwaka huu peke yake tumepoteza zaidi ya watu 10 kwa hii barabara. Na tumebarua mingi tumeandikia serikali kupitia kwa ofisi ya Kenha. No action is being taken.
Leading the distraught group was Silas Buyema, spouse of the late Margaret Andega, who issued what termed a final warning if the national government and the Kenya National Highways Authority fail to act. They will construct the speed bumps themselves.
Now imefika wakati sisi kama wananchi tunaenda kuchukua sheria mikononi. Hii ni warning ya kwanza na ya mwisho. Next time jambo kama hili linafanyika hapa, hakuna gari tutaruhusu kupita hii barabara. Na mtaamuka asubuhi, mtapata tumeweka bumps kwa hii barabara. Hao wananchi wako na nguvu za kuweka bumps kwa hii barabara kama serikali haiwezi tusaidia. Tunapoteza wanafunzi wa Muraka Primary School kila siku. Tuko na wanafunzi hapa wamepoteza miguu, mikono kila asubuhi na jioni. Lakini hakuna hatua imechukuliwa.
The residents claim they have made several trips to the Kenya offices, but months later, not even a promise has materialized.
The people who feel the pain are the ones that are here, that are watching their children, their husbands, their brothers, their sisters, their mothers be thrown on this roadside. I'm hoping that anyone, the government can hear this, so you can all do anything to protect this area. And it's just not this area. It's so many people. It's the cars hitting each other. It's the cars hitting children. It's the cars hitting children that are going to school. We have to do something about it. I'm glad we are here, and something has to be done.
The latest tragedy involved Sila Adega, hit by a speedy vehicle whose driver fled, only to be chased down by boda riders.
I've lost my husband, the father to my children, but he's gone. We worry about the ones that are living, the young people especially.
Kuanzia mbunge ambaye ako Shinyalu, president wetu wa Kenya, tafadhali ili kuokoa watu wetu hapa Muraka na watoto ya shule, tunataka pumps hapa tafadhali. Maana imekuwa gari kama imefanya mambo, kwa mfano kama imegonga mtu, inaenda mbio, hata watu pikipiki wakifuata hawezi kuipata. Kwa hivyo ningeomba hizi pumps zitasaidia kupunguza speed ya magari ambayo inapita na waisi wa ng'ombe hapa. Maana wisi kwa hiyo area yangu imesidi ya ng'ombe. Wanafuata na pikipiki unakuta sharuka. Kwa hivyo ningeomba president wetu Ruto, kama unatusikia penye huko, tafadhali Samuel Ruto, tuhakikishie kutoka Musyoho mpaka Iresi tuwekea pumps tafadhali.
His family returned to the exact spot where he died, holding prayers before taking the body home, fulfilling cultural rites.
Culture ni lazima wafanye hivi, wasipofanya hivi atafufuka, atakuwa anasumbua watu. Sasa vile wamefanya hivi, sasa wamemuondoa penye alikufia, roho yake wameenda naye.
Hii ni uzembe wa serikali, sababu hapa hakuna matuta hata moja, hata sign yoyote ya zebra crossing kuonyesha hii ni barabara ambayo watu wanapitia hakuna. Na shule mnaona ndio hii. Nafikiri waangalie shule waone ndio shule iko karibu hapa. Church iko hapa. Na hii ni sokoni. Sasa kwa community tunahuzunika sana, tunaomba tafadhali tungefanya maandamano ambayo ni mbaya sana kuhusiana na huyu mzee hapa mpaka ifike kesho kama gari haipiti hapa. Lakini kwa sasa tunahurumia serikali, kama mko hapa muangalie na muone, muweke matute hapa. Msipoweka matute hapa, muweke hata running pumps, amweke zebra crossing tafadhali.
The protest brought traffic to a standstill for hours, but residents say the inconvenience is nothing compared to the lives already lost.
Kuna majali zingine ambazo hata serikali wanaweza kuzuia, lakini kwa sababu ya uzembe wanawacha chali zinatendeka. Tukiangalia barabara kutoka hapa kwenda mpaka Ilesi,
Hakuna matuta ambayo imewekwa. Hakuna pumps ambazo zimewekwa. Mtu akifika kule ile kama ni gari, anawachilia gari. Atakosaje kuzuia ajali? Hii ni msana wa serikali. Tafadhali serikali, hii barabara mkitaka kuzuia maafa zaidi, pumps zisiwekwe kwa hii barabara. Mimi naongea na uchungu kwa sababu nimepoteza ndugu yangu ambaye alikuwa ni msaada mkubwa katika familia yetu. So serikali tunalia, tunaomboleza ya kwamba hii barabara iachiliwe ya mwisho, mkaweza kuweka matuta ikasaidia watu wa Muraka na watu wanaopita njia hii.
Bumps ziwekwe za shule, ama kama si bumps tuweke zebra crossing. Hili inamaanisha ukikuja unaona zebra crossing na watoto wanavuka, watu wanavuka. Ni ukue ziwekwe kuanzia hapo juu mpaka hapa chini.
Residents now hold a handline stance, speed bumps or more protest. For the people of Muraka, action can no longer wait. Reporting for Capuchin TV, Catholic Focus, I'm John Beja.
A stark reminder that road safety remains a pressing concern across the country, and especially as we head towards the festive seasons. And it remains to be seen if authorities will act quickly and swiftly to make this road safer for the people of Muraka and even other areas. Now from Western Kenya, let's now redirect the focus to Eastern Kenya, where authorities in Kitui, in a coordinated operation between NACADA and local security officers, have raided an illegal alcohol production site, seizing a distillation machine along with 4,670 cartons of unlicensed liquor. NACADA Executive Director Anthony Amirikwa has warned traders against engaging in the illicit alcohol trade, while 2 suspects were taken into custody. Meanwhile, Kitui Central OCPD Peter Karanja urged members of the public to report any cases of illegal alcohol sales, stressing the role of community vigilance in curbing such activities.
The operation today went very well, which was purely intelligence-led. We hit a couple of sites, and out of it, we were able to nab 670 assorted brands of what we suspect to be adulterated second-generation alcohol. In addition to that, we also got an illegal manufacturing plant, where we got assorted bottles of 250 ml that were ready to be packed. We also found seals and cups that ideally are meant to be used to manufacture illicit alcohol. This site was unlicensed. In custody, we have 2 suspects. One is a proprietor and another one is an alleged accomplice, whom we apprehended at the site where we found the 670 assorted brands of second-generation alcohol, which we're suspecting are adulterated. What I'd like to emphasize on the wananchi is that when you come across such sites, please feel free to get in touch with the police.
This morning, we held a multi-agency operation with NACADA, because one of the strategic objectives of the police is to rid the society free from drugs, alcohol, and substance abuse. Through intelligence, we were able to zero in into a hideout within Karudu and another area within Wikililia, where assorted brands of spirits or alcohol were nabbed. We have 2 suspects in custody.
In sports, Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti has flagged off the county's team of the Kikoska 2025 games set for Sierra. Last year in Kakamega, Machakos fielded 179 athletes across 9 disciplines and brought home 6 trophies. This year, the county is sending a much bigger delegation, 408 athletes competing in 21 disciplines, including football, dance, kilumi, darts, badminton, basketball, tug of war, Scrabble, volleyball, netball, athletics, golf, and more. The team includes men, women, and a strong representation of persons with disabilities. Governor Vinya urged the athletes to uphold discipline, teamwork, and excellence, challenging them to bring home at least 18 medals. The send-off ceremony held at the White House and attended by Deputy Governor Francis Mwangangi, CAC Sharon Mwasia, Chief Officer Bruce Isika, and county staff was charged with cheers, chants, and the unmistakable Machakos spirit.
Last year in Kakamega, Machakos County fielded 179 players competing 9 disciplines. This year, we are sending a formidable team of 408 players. Machakos shone brightly in Kakamega, bringing home 6 trophies. This time, tutawachapa Ilala. Na hakuna mchezo. Tunaelewana? Lazima wajue sisi ni nani. We must show them who we are. This year, I am challenging you to raise the bar even higher. Bring home at least 18 medals. Let the nation see what Machakos is made of. I expect discipline. I expect teamwork. I expect excellence, resilience, brilliance in every event.
Well, we'll wait to see what becomes of the team. Of course, if they are going to meet the threshold issued by the governor. That's all for tonight's edition of Catholic Focus News. From heartfelt farewells and calls for compassion to milestones in our maritime sector, urgent safety concerns and community vigilance against illegal trade, these are the stories shaping our nation today. I'm Sasha Elizabeth with our sign language interpreter Eric Maluki, and on behalf of everyone who made this bulletin successful, thank you for watching and may God bless you.
Keep watching Capuchin TV, your staunchly Catholic identity channel. You are watching Capuchin TV. For any complaints, comments, or compliments on our programming, you can either write to us on info@capuchintv.co.ke or you can call us directly on 0717 424 866. Your complaint shall be addressed within 7 days. Remember to keep a copy of your communication with us. Keep watching Capuchin TV, your Catholic identity.